All right, so the project management process steps. These are highly related to the various knowledge areas of the project management process, but this is giving you kind of step one, step two, step three, whereas the knowledge areas talk about the different subject matter that we want to focus on within each of these processes or as we're working through the project management process. And so when we are talking about the project management process steps, what we're discussing is first the initiation phase. This is obviously when you're beginning the project, right? And then the next step that we want to follow or step into is planning. And then we'll move into execution, where we actually start doing the work, our monitoring and controlling process, and then project closure. But what is really included in all of those? That is exactly what we're going to be discussing today. So from a high level, in the initiation phase, we're going to be focusing on starting a project charter, which is a high-level summary of what you are proposing to undertake. We're also going to be identifying key stakeholders. Those can be internal parties or external parties that have invested interest in your project, and they can be for or against. And we'll talk about that in a lot of detail today. And then we're going to move into the planning phase. In the planning phase, this is also known as due diligence, and it is really essential to setting your project up for success. And so in the planning phase, this is where we start to see those knowledge areas get folded in. And we're going to first start off with developing a project management plan, which is not what most people consider that to be. This is not your activities list. The project management plan are the rules of the road, your policies and procedures for how you intend to manage your project. And then we're going to start planning scope management, planning schedule management, planning cost management, planning quality management, planning resource management, looking at our communications processes. We're going to plan risk management, procurement management, and then finally stakeholder management. Effective planning will make or break your process. And so a large portion of today's lesson is going to be focusing on this planning process because as the age-old adage goes, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And this is ultimately, what we believe in and what research documents is kind of the primary driver of why projects fail. And so effective planning is going to set you up for success. So that's where we're going to focus on it for so much time today. And then we're going to talk about the executing phase. And this is when you're actually doing the work. So obviously during this process, the project manager, project coordinator, or lead, whatever title you and your organization might be using, you're going to be managing the project work. You're going to be managing project knowledge, so all of the different flow of information that comes through the project, making sure that gets disseminated effectively. You're going to be managing quality. You're going to be acquiring resources that are needed for the project. You're going to be managing project communications. Obviously, implementing any risk responses, kind of a whack-a-mole approach. As risks come up or as things happen in the project, you're going to implement the risk management strategies that you've planned. You're going to conduct different procurements to make sure that you have all the resources that you need for your project, and you're going to manage stakeholder engagement to make sure that everyone that cares about your project remains informed and hopefully very happy and satisfied with the way the project is operating. Concurrent to project execution is you're also going to be continuously monitoring and controlling the project, making sure that it stays on track, on budget, as well as on schedule. And so you're going to monitor and control project work, making sure that there's a steady flow of work. You're going to control the scope of the project to make sure that we're not drifting off course. We're going to control the schedule, making sure that we're on time, the cost, making sure that we're in budget, control the quality of the project, that we're hitting all of those specifications that are necessary. We're going to control resources. We're going to monitor our communication and make sure everyone's continuously informed and up to date on what we're doing. And then, of course, controlling those procurements, making sure that our vendors stay in task or on task, schedule, budget, and again, that their deliverables are meeting our expectations. And then, of course, monitoring stakeholder engagement. Are there people that we need at the table that are not at the table? Those types of things. And then finally, we're going to be discussing project closure. This might be pretty intuitive. However, there are some really critical steps or some really key things that all project managers can do to help set themselves up for success for their next project. In the hundreds of projects that we have worked, over the last couple of decades, we continuously go back to the well and look at similar projects to see what lessons learned there were, or different opportunities that we can take, different tools or templates that were created that we can now incorporate into the next project we're working on. And so project closure really is designed to help you set yourself up for success so that your next project runs as smoothly as possible.